Hi guys, welcome back to the Peak Lapel on the road to Mykonos. So I've just left Stratstone Aston Martin after my test drive of the Vanquish Volante, one of the cars that I had identified as being a potential for the Gumball 3000. So I wanted to give you my initial impressions. As expected, this car absolutely looks the part. It's black with full carbon exterior detail. So it's got the carbon fibre front splitter, carbon fibre side sills, carbon fibre rear diffuser, and the wing mirror stalks are carbon fibre too. So it really looks the part. And actually, on the inside, the yellow and black contrast works, I think, exceptionally well, and provides an added bit of intrigue to the interior, which I think, when purely black, can look a bit bland on Astons. I think it worked very well. As a driving experience, the steering is a little weightier than this, but at the same time is still quite light. It gets a little heavier at speed to give it a little bit more stability, but actually it was a lot lighter than I expected it to be. The gearbox. So the version that I test drove was the updated gearbox towards the end of the Vanquish life cycle. So it was the 8-speed ZF, which is pretty ubiquitous now. You find it in so many different manufacturers, whether BMW or Jaguar or Land Rover products. So it actually suits the car. Yes, it doesn't have the immediacy of a double clutch. So like in this, for example, the downshifts are not immediate. It doesn't have the flare of revs that you get in a car like this. There is a little bit of hesitancy when you downshift, but upshifts are actually pretty seamless and work very well. Plus, when you don't want to attack a road and you want to just leave it in automatic, it actually works very well, because it has that ability just to use the torque of the engine. The gear changes really are imperceptible when you're in and around town, and it just adds to the GT credentials of the car. So whilst there are many reviewers who have complained about the fact that it doesn't have a double clutch gearbox, I actually think that this suits the car and it works very well. Now, acceleration, power, noise. There is a real difference between comfort mode and sport. You can sense the increased urgency when you accelerate in sport over comfort. It's nice that you have independent damper modes, so that you can have the car in sport mode, but soften off the dampers to give you a better ride quality. It wasn't as wallowy as I thought it might be, given having read other reviews and watched other reviews on YouTube. It's actually a lot tauter than I expected it to be, but still well damped. It does feel very solid. The acceleration is brisk. It's not rapid, despite it having 560 odd horsepower. It's a relatively heavy car, so whilst it has the power and the torque, it doesn't feel like it's going to set your heart or your hair on fire. Is that a problem? I wouldn't say it's not a problem, but at the same time, I was expecting perhaps a little bit more performance from a car that actually has as much power as this one. There or thereabouts, 550, 560 brake horsepower. In terms of the sound of the car, that's something that I'll be honest, I was a little bit underwhelmed by. I really expected it for more of the noise to come into the cabin. Yes, I had the roof up for sound reasons, but even going through a tunnel with the windows down, I'll be honest, it didn't actually make the noise that I expected it to make, which I found a little bit disappointing. I know this was a standard exhaust, and of course it's a Vanquish, not a Vanquish S, but at the same time, I really thought that there would be more of that noise. Now, I know Aston do a titanium exhaust for it, and it may well be that if that is the car that I decide to go for, that's an option that I would explore, because it is a little bit too quiet for my liking. And it just doesn't seem to exploit the musicality of that naturally aspirated V12 that it should. What else? So ultimately, where do I stand on this being a potential car for the Gumball 3000? I think it genuinely has potential. It definitely has potential. It does have all the characteristics that I'd be looking for. Other than, as I said, the sound. It genuinely feels like a car that you could cross countries in, which is obviously what I'll be doing on the Gumball. It's very comfortable. It actually is slightly more cosseting than this. I think this is actually, despite it being a soft top convertible as opposed to this hard top convertible, I actually feel like this feels more of a sports car than the Vanquish does. It doesn't have the same sort of want to egg you on to go faster that this does. This feels infinitely more race inspired than the Vanquish, but I totally understand that. You have to look at it with a different set of spectacles on, and it is made to be a GT first, and a sports car, sports GT as it were second. So does it have what it takes to potentially be a Gumball 3000 car? Yes, I think absolutely. We'll have to see what the other cars on my list are like, and whether ultimately it has what it takes. But very good impressions so far. I certainly enjoyed driving it, and yeah, we'll at the end of the process with all the other cars I've got lined up. Let's see how it goes. But it's a good impression so far. So all that's left is for me to say thank you to Stratstone Aston Martin, and Nathan in particular. Lovely guy, very happy to accommodate my request, and I'm very grateful to him for that. And obviously, if you have any questions about Aston Martin, do feel free to drop me a mail or put it in the comment section. And I thoroughly recommend, if you are interested in an Aston, that you go to Nathan, because very straightforward guy, will give you everything that you need. So guys, thanks ever so much for joining, and see you next time.